Well, everyone knows Buddha mentioned that he discovered that as long as we detach from our ego, detach from Dharma, we can all be enlightened. Now, what does enlightened mean? What does Dharma mean? What does ego mean? Enlightenment is to live with our nature. In other words, the nature we were born with. What is our nature? Our nature is happiness. I mean, when we were born, aren't we happy and peace, no worries, and loved everyone around us? We smile at everyone. I mean, not all infants like that. So that's our nature. Our nature is very kind, very loving, very peaceful, very joyful, and has no worries. Every day is a happy day. That's what enlightenment is, so that we live in harmony with everyone around us. There's no war, there's no peace. But these are terminologies or adjectives added by human being later. Basically, our nature just is. Now, then what does ego mean? Ego means everything that we acquired after we were born and built up a certain priority, a certain preference, a customized, tailor-made way of living for each and every one of us. I like a Tesla to drive, and you like to have a Mustang to drive. I like Democrat, you like Republican. I love ice cream, you love coffee. And these are the styles that we acquired after we were born. As we experience through things, we begin to select and choose and build up a rationalization that this is what we like. Anything else is unacceptable. Any opinion that's different, we're going to fight it. We're going to argue about it. Any different values different from us is not our value. That's what ego is. Now, that's why the world, with so many different egos, you know, even within the same race, even with the same location, even in the same village or in the same family, we have problems with these different egos. That's why Buddha said, if you get rid of all your personal preferences and discrimination, and you be able to accept everyone else, and then you'll be able to live like a baby, live with your nature. That's what detached from ego is. And then Dharma. Dharma means the teaching of Buddha. Dharma means logic. Dharma meaning a sequence of presentations. Or in the modern world, Dharma means a slide of presentations. Why we need to detach from Dharma? Because Buddha realizes no matter how he teaches, he can only teach us one sentence at a time. He can only teach us one logic stream at a time. He cannot teach with 10,000 different directions. And if we do teach at one logic at a time, one sequence of logic at a time, the ego of everyone will definitely filter against or accept, or have doubts or compare. So he realizes Dharma is only for our reference, not to be followed 100%. The idea to detach from Dharma is to free ourselves to look at our individual problems and use the Dharma as a reference, not an absolute guideline, to reach our inner nature and let the inner nature take over so that we become more loving and peace and joyful. So, does that make sense? Okay? Now, Buddha said, rid of ego, rid of Dharma, not exactly rid of, but detach from ego and Dharma, you reach enlightenment. Then you have no more worries because you don't discriminate against anything. You can accept everything, no matter what it is. However, how do we reach that? How do we be able to detach from ego and detach from Dharma? Shifu gave us only two practices. One is detach from all forms. The other is to in sync with our heart. For 30-some years, Shifu been teaching. And no matter what he said, always based on these two practices. Detach from forms. What is form? My body is a form? Yeah, I know that. My driving test is a form? I know that. Money is a form. These are visible forms. And then there's invisible forms. A relationship is a form. An honorary title is a form. Power is a form. Reputation is a form. In other words, anything that you can describe with words is a form. Can you describe happiness? Can you describe peace? Not easy, is it? Because peace and happiness can be felt by our heart. I can say everything about how I love you, but if I don't have that loving heart, you know it's not going to be true. So form is all human made-up values. So we cannot live without them. We need to recognize whether it's a red light or a green light, right? And we need to differentiate a $10 bill versus a $100 bill, right? These are all forms. We cannot live without it. We need to work and get paid. We need money. But don't be attached to it. That's what Shifu said. Detach from all forms, because attaching to these forms is the process of our ego. Once you attach to a form, I want more money, I want more love, I want more power, I want more whatever, or I hate this, I hate that, or I worry this, I worry that. These are all forms. So once you have these forms, meaning what? Meaning your ego has covered up your nature, your true loving, forgiving, and wonderful, angel-like nature. So detach from forms. And that is a very distinct practice. So whenever you have a problem, let's say you had a quarrel with your spouse, accept it. Don't get rid of it. Detach does not mean ignore it. Detach means don't be influenced by it. Okay? Just, whether you had $100 bill or a $10 bill, don't be influenced by the dollar sign. Except you got $10, not 100. That's fine. So detach is meaning not to be influenced by all forms, no matter what they are. In other words, anything the human being thinks its value and it's not everlasting, then that's form. The only thing, as you know, that everlasting is our spirit. Yeah? Now, in sync with our heart. How do we in sync with our heart? If once we detach from our forms, then we can be in sync with our heart. Because if we are attached to forms, to these human-generated values, then our ego is in play. You think, I am somebody. I am Jingming. I am so-and-so. I am so-and-so. And you are nothing. So once the ego took over, your heart, the loving, kind, peaceful heart is covered up. It's not going to show through. You're not going to feel it. So the only way to in sync with our heart is to detach from form. So these two practices is actually one practice. Right? If you want to in sync with our heart, you need to detach from forms. If you detach from forms, then your heart, your nature can shine through. It's actually one practice. That's the fundamental teaching of Shifu. For 30-some years, I've listened to him for 20-some years. And he always come back to this point. Now, the question is, in sync our heart with what, right? I haven't talked about that. Yeah? What is Chan? What did Shifu teach as Chan? Chan is the power of the life force. Chan is the power of manifestation. Chan is the power of wisdom. If you listen carefully, every phrase, there is the word power in it. It is an energy. It is a fundamental energy that gives life to everything. To trees, to dogs and cats and birds and bees, to you and me, to everything in this universe. That's the energy. And that's the energy we want to tap into, so that we are in sync with everything. We can feel the life force of the trees, of the vegetable we eat. Yes. Try it. Try to chew your salad, the raw vegetable, not cooked ones, but the raw ones, and feel its energy. You can feel its energy coming through you, if you have detached from ego. Once you detach from your ego, you can experience so many wonderful things. You get more wisdom, because wisdom comes through you. A lot of people say, is wisdom intelligence? No. Intelligence is a deduction power, an analysis power, power of our brain. It's the logic power. That's intelligence. Wisdom comes from the universe. Wisdom, the reason we always say, don't use your mind and get rid of your ego and use your heart, because heart has no memories. Heart cannot think, cannot analyze. Heart is just loving and accepting. And what's wrong with that? Don't you like it? I know, to some people who hated some people so much, we can't tolerate. That's what we call karma. Okay? I don't want to get into that too much because that's negative. So the idea is if we are detached from all forms, not just some forms. The form I prefer to detach, I detach. The form I want to keep, I don't want to detach. Then it's kind of halfway. You can only think halfway. You cannot think full way. Once you try it, and then you'll be able to get the power of wisdom. And the power of life force, it requires a little bit of effort. And power of manifestation, that's even more challenging. Let's talk about the power of wisdom a little bit more. Usually when we encounter a problem, we have 4 or 5 different solutions. And often, none of them actually solve everything. Only everyone solves some of the issues, not all of the issues. So what do? Put it aside because the time is not there. The time is not right. Put it aside, and all of a sudden, during your shower or brush your teeth or walk in the park, an idea is going to come. And then that's the solution. Will resolve perfectly your problem. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is intuition. It comes from the universe. It comes from your connection with the universe. So, detach from forms is a practice that reminds us whenever we reach a form, with a form present in front of us, we try not to be influenced by it. We try to find a solution to solve it. That's the way. And then once we did that, then our heart be able to in sync with the universe. We can feel the life force. We may even have some power of manifestation, but definitely very quickly we all experience wisdom. And once you did that, you're going to find it so effortless. The wisdom just comes in streams. Every moment, you live in happy, happy land. That's what we call liberation. Of course, these are, I would call them the human level of time practice to liberate ourselves from sufferings in the modern day world. But that's not a true enlightenment. True enlightenment is you have to get to the power of manifestation. You have witnessed your Buddha nature and you be able to live based on the nature that within you, within each one of us. I usually like to use some example to illustrate the point about an ego. And you probably have heard this many, many times, but please let me repeat. I love them so much. One is, in order to, let's say, we want to be a leader in this world, right? So we have to listen to everyone that have different opinions. And we have to accept every opinion as a valid opinion because the perspective is different. He's come from the left, he only sees the left side. He come from the right, he only sees the right side. Just like a blind people examines an elephant. You probably heard the story, right? Something elephant is a trunk, something elephant is a rope, something elephant is a fan, something elephant is a spear, because the different parts of the elephant. So once you accepted all these different opinions of your people, you try to be leading them to somewhere. Do you still have your own opinion? Think about that. So the idea is to accept all. That's why Chan is all. Chan is everything. If we can accept it all, we no longer have our own opinion. We no longer have an ego working against us, right? And the second part that I like even more, I often say, I remember when I was in grammar school, I want to be the professor know-all. Then when I grew up, I think it was in high school, uh, the Professor Know-all is a magazine that I used to read in grammar school, and there's a Professor Know-all that answers all the tricky questions. So I think I want to be that professor. And then in high school, I want to be able to communicate with everyone, whether it's we have this tricycle driver,三轮车夫. And at that time was very poor, Taiwan, very, very poor. And I want to be able to talk to them. I want to be able to talk to uh, teachers. I want to talk to professors. I want to be them all. And you know what I learned? If you want to be everyone, then you actually, in essence, is no one particular. You become very common people. If you are able to become everyone, then you are no one. So I thought I end this sharing based on those two little statements I often quoted in the last 20 some years. I hope you don't mind. Anyone has any questions or sharing? Okay, if not, then we follow Shifu's teaching of last Tuesday. We'll practice the three-center alignment. And Shifu gave us two ways to practice that. One is coming in from the Chan chakra and reach our heart chakra and expand from our heart chakra. The other way is to focus on the root chakra and, shall I say, absorb the chi from the earth, and focus on the 10th chakra, absorb the chi from the universe, and then guide both chis to our heart chakra. As you know, 10th chakra or the crown chakra is the center of the universe, and the heart chakra is the center of human, and the root chakra is the center of the earth. So we connect the chi from the earth and to the heart chakra, and with the chi from the 10th chakra or the crown chakra, and get all the chi lined up into three chakras. So you can do either or, because Shifu was very kind. If you can do three-center alignment with three chakras, center of human, center of earth, center of universe, three-center, or simply just focus on the heart chakra. And as always, we don't call end to the session. So however long you want to meditate, please do so. As always, we take a few deep breaths into our navel chakra. Now let's focus on root chakra. Root chakra is located near the prostate gland for the gentlemen and near the cervix for the ladies. You can contract the root chakra a few times if you don't feel its existence. And after contracting, if you still don't feel its existence, it's okay. Don't panic. Don't expect it. It will surface only when you don't ask for it. If you don't find the root chakra, then go back to focus on your heart chakra. Heart chakra is in the center of your chest. And if you feel the vibration of the root chakra, then just focus on it, enlarge it. The more you focus on, the more stronger the vibration you're going to feel. And it's going to travel upward to your heart chakra. You're going to feel the vibration in your heart chakra, and then these two chakras are connected. By now, your 10th chakra or your crown chakra in the center of your head should begin to vibrate together with the heart chakra. Now we need to line up the three chakras, the root, the heart, and the chan into a straight line. And usually you need to sit up straight. I often need to tuck in my chin a little bit. Once you line up the three chakra into a straight line, you may see a column of light just going through you. I'm going to feel a cool chi coming through the 10th chakra. And the chi coming through the root chakra, they both meet at your heart chakra.